Hey all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly value, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey everybody, how we doing? Hopefully everybody is doing well. We got a lot to get into because I'm going to continue my thoughts from the last stream, but we got another one because it's a lot of foolishness going on with these hyenas. Hold on. All right. Thank you, Rock Fresh, for kicking off the contribution. I appreciate you very much. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to pretty much pick up where we left off to a certain degree. We were talking about Latosha Daniels. This was the one who was found guilty recently of deletion as the side chick. This the bunny boiler. So where we're going to start is we're going to start at the point where the relationship starts, falling apart in her mind. Okay. So let's go ahead and we're going to get started with that. Oh, you know what? Because we ain't supposed to be showing it, right? We just got to listen to it. But listen carefully. This is where we're starting. They're asking her about certain things. They're starting to ask her about, he wanted to start doing threesomes, if you remember. Now, mind you, she said that he was started mentioning that in the 3rd month of the relationship. Their affair lasted 2 years. Listen closely.
Did the threesome birthday trip happen while y'all were together or before?
It happened while we were together.
Did you know that he was going to do that?
The threesome trip in Cuba?
No, when he went and paid for the threesome.
Oh, that was well before I knew him.
Okay. At any point, did you watch him and Tabitha have sex?
No.
Was Tabitha ever invited to watch you and Brodus have sex?
No.
Were you comfortable with the concept of a watcher?
No.
Was Brodus persistent about a watcher?
Very much so.
Explain that for me.
Everywhere we went, he would even text me and say, "Hey, you need to find us a watcher. Find us a watcher." And so I got to the point I was like, if I can find somebody, hopefully I can get him to stop. So I asked a friend of mine if she would do it for us. And she was like, if I do, we're taking it to our grave. He had me to tell her to download Confide.
Doing everything but what she's supposed to be doing. My eyes. Everything but what she was supposed to be doing. Doing everything except being a good wife to her husbands. She wouldn't have dared cheated on this dude either. I guarantee you that. I guarantee that she never cheated on this guy. Cheated on her husband with this guy. We're going to continue.
And we were able to dialogue 3-way, and the things that he was asking her to do, she just backed out.
Did that whole thing make you very uncomfortable?
Very much so.
Why were you willing to even entertain it?
I wanted to make him happy.
So now I want to talk to you about Brodus wanting to expand the ethical non-monogamy. Well, I guess first, was he actually engaging in ethical non-monogamy?
No.
Tabitha had no idea any of this was going on, right?
No.
As far as you knew, she knew that that's what he wanted, but he hadn't told her.
As far as I knew, correct.
And you've heard differently from even that here.
Yes.
Did Brodus ask you about expanding the relationship beyond you.
He did.
When he asked you about that, how did you respond?
I told him I didn't want to.
Did he tell you, well, my wife's on board with it, so why isn't my girlfriend?
That's exactly what he said.
Which was a valid question. I want y'all to listen to the audacity that we hear. She's saying that he told her, listen, you ain't the only one, which she was never the only one besides his wife anyway. He had a whole situation going. He had a whole second, third life he was living, okay, with a bunch of females that he was telling different stuff to. So we're not gonna play that game. That's how he knew about the app. That's how he knew the rules to tell her to operate by. Now, you was never the only side piece. He had a wife that made him appear stable in the church. She was the first lady and all of that. Then he's got the other chicks that he dealing with. Okay? How dare you be traipsing around the United States with another woman's husband that you know is her husband? You're doing everything under the sun with this man, even so much as willing to, quote unquote, do what you don't want to do, which is go and get another chick because he wants to engage in voyeurism, so-called. He told you it was a threesome. Then he said voyeurism. Voyeurisms and threesomes is two different things. If you just want a voyeur, you don't want that person involved. You get off on the fact that they see you. A threesome is all three of y'all. All three of y'all. So she's stupid to begin with. Okay? And then you have the audacity to not want him to have other women. You want loyalty from a man that is not being loyal to the woman that he swore to God, quite literally, that he was going to be monogamous with. And you don't want him to have another woman. Side chicks don't never, that kills me with side chicks. They never ever want the guy to have yet another woman. You're the other woman. You, Barbara, this is Shirley. Okay? We're going to listen a little bit further.
Did that cause problems between you and Brodus?
At first, no, but as it continued to go on, it did. Especially after he joined like this, he called it a book club, but it was, they met on Marco Polo talking about the book, The Ethical Slut. And so the more that he engaged in that, it became to where it was, because he was more like, why are you not on board with this? And I'm like, why would I be? Like, it doesn't make sense because we already have limited time together. So why would I say, yes, you can be able to be with multiple women? And so it was that part.
I gotta keep stopping it with that. The level of delusion that these women are constantly in is astounding. You are actively sharing a man that you have no business sharing, and you don't want to share a man? You're actively sharing, taking what crumbs of time and energy and money or whatever it is, sex and all of that you are getting from this man, and you sassified. You sassified. Okay? You be somewhere rubbing your feet together after a day of seeing him. And if you don't want to share, you're sharing, goofball. You sharing, bunny boiler. You already sharing. What you think he don't get that woman no time at the house? You think he don't go home to that woman and get her time and sex and energy and money and attention? You don't think that's what he doing to her? Where do you think he at when he not grinning and skinning in your face? With his other one, not his other, with his woman, with his wife. He's with his wife. That's who he with. And when he not with her or you, he might be with yet another woman. Talking about why would I let, did you really think that you was in control of what that man was doing with his penis? It be the delusion for me. You ain't never controlled, not a moment, where that man was putting his penis and where he wasn't. Just dirt bags. We're going to get into another dirt bag because I'm not going to spend too much more time on her. Trust and believe. We're going to move to yet another story. Because the thing that I'm trying to stress to y'all is how much dirt bags these women are. Social media has been the bane of these hoes' existence. Because you ain't seen a lioness yet get on here and make a fool out of herself. But these hoes, every day, it's a daily situation. It's a daily thing. Okay? The level of delusion that this bunny boiler is in. This is why she a bunny boiler. Because the delusion is so potent in her mind. Why would I you're not letting him do anything. The only reason he was going about it the way he was going about it to try to talk to you about it or whatever is because, that's just schmoozing is just what he do. And he eventually did want to get to a point, I believe that. He eventually did want to get to a point where everybody kind of know, and he just kind of do what he do in peace. He did. I bet you he did eventually want that to occur. He wanted his wife to sort of just turn her head. And then he go out here with these women and do what he doing with the women. And they know about each other and, all of that. The other thing that I want to point out before we go back to Bunny Boiler over here is the level of pick-me-ism. I bet you anything, she had a laundry list of what she wasn't going to do for her husband or with her husband. I guarantee you. She had a long list of so-called standards, demands, and absolute no-nos when it came to her husband. Yet, with this man who has no commitment to her nor obligation to her at all, she was willing to do a threesome with this guy. I told y'all they be out here willing to eat coochie for a man. They be out here willing to eat coochie for a man. Sis, you ain't got no space to say nothing about what another woman would do who is just simply trying to be good to her husband and submissive to her husband and supportive of her husband. They be trying to act like that's out of the way, like that's crazy but you will straight eat coochie for a man that is not your husband. He got you paying for your trips here and there. You, out of your pocket. You. He ain't even so much as paying for you. He not even showering you with the church's money. Baby, he making you spend that money. Was mad that you didn't spend $2,500 on him a bike to go biking with you, baby. He had you remodeling his closet in a house that his name and possibly his wife's name on the deed, baby. Your name is nowhere. Your name is stricken. You was a secret in the dark. Oh, in the dark. You was in the dark. You was the footsteps in the dark. Spending money and acting a fool. Spending money and eating coochie to keep this man. That's not yours to keep. That was not yours to keep. We're going to get to the super chats in just a minute. I appreciate everybody. I definitely appreciate everybody. We're going to get back. Listen to this food.
It was hard.
Did you love Brodus Perry?
I shouldn't have, but I did.
Were you in love with Brodus Perry?
I was.
Were you wanting to build a life with Brodus Perry?
I wanted what we had at that time, yes.
And y'all saw each other frequently, right?
We saw each other just about every day. I would cook for him, and so he would come to my office to eat lunch. If he didn't come to the office, I would drop it off for him. But it got to the point to where he knew my code to my office, so he would just come in. He knew where to get his lunch, warm it up, and if I had a session, of course, he would wait out in his vehicle. But
mind you, she just said she see him every day. So what time was you missing? As a side chick, you was lucky. Were you not a lucky side chick? You got to see your affair man nearly every day at some portion of the day. You cooking him them over-salted meals that he got to eat. And you see, so what? How you just bunny boiling at its finest.
But other than that, he would come in and we would sit there and have lunch every day.
How did Brodus react when you told him that you were not open to expanding to allow him to have more girlfriends?
He was emotionally distant. Like, well, he would tell me, well, you need to go and find someone. And I'd be like, I don't want anyone but you. And so he knew that would play on like my insecurities. So one time when he said, you need to go out and find someone, I said, well, what if I do? And he said, well, then we won't be together. So he knew that was going to get to me because I wanted to be with him. I enjoyed our time together when we did have it. And so he used the emotional part, the affection. He would give it to me, withdraw it if I wasn't really complying with what he wanted.
So what you telling us is that he saw a fool and bopped her head. So you stupid. Because sound like he gave you an out. He said, well, if you want another man, you can have another man, Bookie, but you just can't have me while you have another man. I can have whatever I want. You cannot. I mean, well, you can, but I won't be involved. Sound fair to me? So sound like he gave you an out that you did not take. And that you wanted to delete him? When you could have left and found your own man? But you didn't want to do that? I gotta find the minute mark for this other little story she finna tell. She finna tell an eggplant sucking story that is like, for real, girl, they couldn't have drugged this information out of me with a chariot of wild horses.
This has happened. Have you had time to really retrospectively consider your relationship with Brodus?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I want to talk to you. We'll get back to that. I want to talk to you about that Marco Polo group, okay?
Okay.
Brodus was in an ethical non-monogamy group with 2 other women, right?
Yes.
Were you a part of that group?
I was not.
Were you ever allowed to be involved with that group?
I wasn't.
But you knew about it?
Yes.
Would he have let you contribute?
That was the first time that of any activity that he done that he didn't even invite me to do.
Did he actively keep it from you?
I would say so, because with any other thing he did, even to joining like a bourbon society, like we had memberships to a lot of things together, but that was one thing that he did not invite me to.
Because you wasn't invited. Boop. 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 You wasn't invited. Stupid. You ignorant anyway. Only a man that truly don't like you tell you to get out of his face, and he don't care if you have another man, you just won't have him. No man that like you tell you that. You know what? The line of questioning is stupid, but the whole situation is stupid. The line of questioning don't got no other choice but to be stupid, Nathaniel. Now, I don't know why the defense let her get up there to tell these stories. Now, they didn't make it look good. If they tried to act like they thought that if she got up there and said these little stories that the jury would feel like she was manipulated into, but she didn't do nothing but tell on herself and tell how stupid she was and how voluntary all of this stuff was. That's all she did, was talk about how voluntary everything was. Sometimes your defense is the weapon formed against you. That woman was her defense attorney. She was the weapon formed against her. Okay.
I want to talk to you about when Brodus and Tabitha Perry moved to Memphis, okay?
Okay.
Mississippi Boulevard reached out to Brodus, right?
To my knowledge.
Now, mind you, you got to think about the stupidity underneath what's being said. They started out in Little Rock, Arkansas. This is where all of this started. This is where they lived prior to. He took his wife, not you, stupid head. He took his wife and moved to Tennessee. He got a whole nother place to stay for him and his wife to Tennessee. This was your other out. Leave him alone. He had done used you for what he could use you for. You stupid. He done got all the coochie that he wanted and all that kind of stuff. And then he left to go about his life. You are not important to his life. You getting into them little memberships and spending your money, baby, that was your fault. That was on you, baby. You shouldn't have came up with all that money then. You got to chalk it up. You got to chalk it up to the charges to the game at that point. You just got to charge it to the game. Okay? He said, 2 wrongs don't make it right. Okay? But tonight was the night I kept you guessing. Okay? He told you, he left, baby. He left you in Little Rock, Arkansas. Went to a whole nother church. You stupid. You stupid.
According to him, the pastor from Mississippi Boulevard reached out to Pastor Pointer, and then Pastor Pointer shared that with Brodus.
Had Brodus, to your knowledge, had any issues at St. Mark's?
Yes, he would tell me a lot about conflict that he was having with some of his coworkers. And then there was one instance where, according to him, he had misuse of a credit card.
Basically, the heat was getting too hot in the kitchen at that other church. He was doing too much foolishness. He told her it was about some fraud and something. It may have been. But he was screwing too many chicks in that church. Word was getting around. Everybody ain't gonna keep their mouth shut. A lot of heat. The heat was getting hot in that kitchen. And he said, you know what, let me get out of here before it really blow up in my face real bad. And then I can't do it again at another place. You know, my number will be up. You know, folk will know what I'm on, and I won't be able to do it no more. This was what he didn't just move to another church home. He left the city. He left the city. He left the city, y'all. Listen.
Your Honor, this is going to the context of their relationship, just giving background on, this is going to her buying things, paying for things. This is a debt that she repaid for him. That's what it's going into.
We're going to fast forward because they're doing...
Told me to change it to performance-based.
For Brodus.
Yes.
How much was that?
The debt was $2,500, but I ended up getting him $2,300, and he got very upset with me about it
Why did he get upset with you about it?
because he wanted me to do the full price.
And that was not your debt, right?
No,
So did Brodus talk to you when this other church reached out to him?
he did.
Did he discuss with you whether or not he should accept it?
Yes,
What did you tell him?
I told him I thought it was a great opportunity for him
Why?
because of the things that was being shared to me that some things he was dealing with within the employment at St. Mark. I thought that would be a great thing for him. So he sent me his resume, told me to change it to performance-based, and I did that, and he went to the interview,
Is Mississippi Boulevard a prestigious church?
to my knowledge.
And you're not from here, right?
No,
You've never lived in Memphis?
I have not.
Did he eventually, to your knowledge, accept that position at Mississippi Boulevard?
Yes,
Did the church have a going away party for Brodus and Tabitha Perry?
I planned a going away party. Actually, he had two. He had one at the Cigar Lounge and then one for the church.
Who planned the party at the cigar?
I.e., he had a party for the hoes, then he had the party that was for the church. You understand? To make it look like, reputable. But then at the Cigar Lounge, he had the party for the hoes. You understand what I'm saying? He got to get two. You know what I'm saying? I got two phones. Okay, he had two going away parties, baby. Okay.
Lounge.
I did.
Who planned the party at the church?
I did.
Who paid for the majority of the gifts?
I did. And then he gave me a backstory on how to be able to elicit money from the other members of the church so that he could have a certain amount of money for when he left.
So she started scamming with him, scamming the members. You doing a lot. This is why she where she at. She is where she needs to be. She is where she needs to be. They should have charged her with that too. But I guess other people have to bring other charges or whatever. But so you were stealing folks' man, and you were stealing folks' money.
What do you mean?
Like it was, hey, reach out to the life groups and tell them, I'm going away and we're going to do monetary gifts. So that's what I did.
Did he get monetary gifts from that?
He did.
Before Brodus left, did he give you his new address in Memphis?
Yes.
Now I want to talk to you about after they moved, okay?
Okay.
Did your relationship with Brodus Perry continue after he moved to Memphis?
Yes.
Would Brodus come back to Little Rock?
He would.
Do you know why he would come? Why he would come back?
Yes. The main reason why he would come back is because of his orthodontics appointments. And then also he was building up a business and a consulting business, and he was beginning to he had one client that he was coming back to begin to do some consulting with.
What would happen when he came in town between the two of y'all?
We would meet up at the hotel and hang out.
I want to, and was that he would come in town and he would contact you?
Yes.
And y'all would get together?
Yes.
You know that consultation was another woman, right? Orthodontist. So ain't no dentist in Memphis, Tennessee? You mean to tell me ain't no dentistry in Memphis, Tennessee? That's a lie. You know he was coming with another woman. Okay. Want to be stupid. She want to be stupid. She want to be stupid. She like being stupid.
Now I want to talk to you about April the 15th of I'm sorry, not April the 15th, March the 15th of 2019, okay?
Okay,
Did Brodus come in town that day?
he did.
Did he text you?
He did.
Did you meet him at the hotel?
I did.
Do you recall what hotel?
I think it may have been Spring Hill.
What happened after you went to the hotel?
The first time I went to the hotel, it was, just a drop off. He had asked me to bring him, to go buy him something to eat and to stop by and get him some bourbon. After I brought that to him, we made an agreement to meet up later on. I had called him and as it was getting later and said, hey, what time are we gonna meet up? And he was just like, I don't know, I'll let you know. But he never called. So I was at home and I was like, I'm just gonna break up with him. Like I'm not gonna do this treatment. Like no. I went to the lounge. I still had some gifts to give him and he was coming out and I said, unlock your car, and I started putting the gifts in. Well, once he got closer to me, he just hugged me and gave me the key to the room and was like, go to the room. So I was like, okay, and I did.
Game. This was game. He had some cold game. Nah, he knows she's stupid. He knows she's stupid. She gonna break up. Girl, what? You are his mule at this point. You're now his mule. Your novelty has worn off, but you stupid enough to stay around. So now he's going to start using you without giving you the emotional supply and the emotional benefit that you were looking for as a side chick. Now it's starting to be more about him using you and what you can do for him and what he was doing for you. Less and less and less. This is why she said she wanted to break up, because that's how they do. Her supply had run out. She dizzy dumb. Her supply, her usefulness to him had run out. The novelty was gone. You know what I'm saying? Her being another piece of, tail and all that kind of stuff. He getting other women and stuff like that. You old news, baby. You old news. You old news. And she didn't want to be old news. She wanted him to keep on, showering her with attention and this, that, and the third, and being real affectionate with her and, study being laid up with her. Well, he didn't want to be laid up with you no more. Okay. That's why he kept on telling he moved and everything. Thought you would have thought that you would have left him alone then, but you didn't do it. So now when you don't leave him alone, now he's just extracting stuff out of you. You the stupid girl. You the stupid that's gonna get him the money. You the stupid that's gonna, every time he call, you hurry up, answer the phone. Yeah, baby, what you need, you know what I'm saying, and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so that's what you became. That's what you was to begin with, to be honest with you. But then he just started showing you that. Okay, he just started showing you that. And you didn't like that. You didn't like him just sort of not paying hardly no attention to you. You gonna break up. You don't like the treatment. Really? I went on upstairs. I know you did, stupid. We know.
Once he hugged you, was it all better?
It was.
Is that kind of how it went with Brodus?
Yes.
So tell me about what happened after that.
That was one of the times that I still had my clothes on. So of course, when he got in there, he's like, why you still got clothes on? And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I got undressed. I did tell him, I said, I was coming to break up with you because of the way you're treating me. And he laughed it off and was like, well, why didn't you? And I was like, because I really do love you. He came over to the bed, started tickling me. We laughed it off. And then as we begin to engage in.
I just want to show y'all the stupid Tubi acting. This is her trying to hold her head down like this is traumatic for her to, rehash. Girl, you is sitting there moist as you rethink this. Okay? So this is some low-level Tubi acting that she is doing. As she think about it, she gotta try to hold her head down. Girl, bye. Anyway, y'all.
What I thought was gonna be lovemaking was not that night.
Can you tell me what happened?
As I was performing oral sex on him.
Yeah, that wig is a defendant of its own. It is up here giving another testimony. Do you understand? That wig got its own testimony going. This is what got her locked up. That wig testimony got her locked up. Okay? That got her that longer sentence. When the jury thought back and said, what was that wig saying? Baby, that's I'll tack on another 15 years for that, baby. Because ain't no way your wig is sitting up there having a different testimony than you.
He began to thrust himself inside my mouth really hard. And I told him that was hurting. Then he grabbed my hair. I had long hair, and he wrapped my hair around his head and he started yanking it. And when he wasn't thrusting himself in my mouth, he was pulling my hair really hard. And with his other hand, he would just hit me and hit me and hit me. And I was like, it's hurting. And he was like, you better not bite me. You better not bite me. And then after that, we had sex, and it was just rough, and it was hard, and it was just not what I was used to. And then once we finished, something he never ever does was he rolled over and just gave me the cold shoulder, and I was like, you're not gonna hold me? And he was like, no, and just went to.
You wanted another woman's man to hold you after punishment sex. You stayed, listen. This is almost a discussion for Discord, the way that story, listen. I told you that was punishment. That's punishment sex for telling him you was going to break up. That's what that was. That was punishment sex. So you think you gonna tell me something? I got something for you. I got a trick for you. You think that we're going to have sex like we usually do? I got something for you. We're going to do some punishment sex. This is the sex that, listen, he don't like her. He don't like her. He doesn't like her. He's done with her. She the one not reading the room. Because she should have just left. Instead of telling him, I came over here to break up with you. Just go silent. Just go silent. Go silent. Move. Change your phone number. Don't answer no texts and stuff. Gone. He had you on the ghetto gagger side of the game. Okay? Popping you upside your stupid head and telling you better not bite. And if you got a mouthful of that, ain't no way that he allowing you the air and the time that it take for you to tell him you don't like it. He know you don't like it. He's purposely doing that. He's doing what he never do with you because you don't like it. He know that. This was, if you gonna stay with me, I'm gonna do how I want to do. I'm gonna treat you like anything. If I don't feel like being soft with you, I'm not gonna be soft with you. The sex that she just described was not sex for his enjoyment, and it certainly was not for hers. That was not for her to enjoy. That was not sex for her to enjoy. Okay? I wanted y'all to hear that story. We actually gonna move on. I'm gonna go to commercial, and then we're gonna move on to the second story that I need you to have. If you want to, the trial is recorded on YouTube. The whole trial is on YouTube. So if you want to look at the whole trial and look at what actual events led up to her, you know what I'm saying, deleting him and all that kind of stuff, you can do that. I'm not gonna go through that here. But what we're gonna do is we're going to take a commercial break. We're gonna look at we're gonna go over the super chats, and then we're going to go into another one. So after these messages, we'll be right back. So I need everybody to go to ashkicking.com. The link is pinned to the top of the chat. If you want to keep your skin looking and feeling its absolute best, then you need the body butter that is on the screen right now. If it's going to be your first order, please take advantage of the 10% discount using the promo code Crimson at checkout. Once again, the link is ashkicking.com, and it is pinned to the top of the chat. I owe you guys a bam, 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 bam. You got to hit the like button. Bam, bam. You got to go ahead and hit the like button. Thank you. Quiet Faith has been a member for 15 months. I appreciate you greatly for that contribution. Thank you, King Musa. So they're probably going to just send her to a mental institution. It sounds crazy to normal people. No, they sent her to jail. They didn't do the whole mental health thing. She got sentenced and found guilty. But thank you so much for your contribution. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you, Rock Fresher. Out of all these single men out here, she wants a married guy. Exactly. Thank you, OG Tony. Said pure entertainment. It is. Thank you, Thanos. It was cool to see Corey talk about you last night. I hope it leads more people to your message. Oh, Corey Holcomb. We gonna have to eventually get on his show because we keep passing each other. That just means that it's gonna happen, but the timing. Some things is about timing. So we definitely is going to get hooked up with Corey Holcomb show, because that he funny if he ain't nothing else, because he gonna sit there. He definitely a Chicago man. The way that he be talking about folk, he definitely out the crib. Thank you again, Quiet Face. So that story about thrusting and being rough was to imply she was withdrawing consent. She was trying to pull a Hail Mary. Yeah, right. All of that whole testimony was about her trying to, he was manipulating and he was doing all that good, but you a dirtbag. So we got a secondary situation. Most of y'all, the guys may not know, but recently there was another ruling that went against a side chick. Now these are just adulterers. This is an adulteress and an adulterer that we're talking about here. The second story. This story is centered around a TikTok and a Instagram social media influencer named Brenay Kennard. And you know, she always had them long, ugly little crazy nails. She big. You know, I never did, like, whenever her videos would come across, it was always her making that little nasty big back coffee she was making. How you make big back coffee? But anyway, she was always making big back coffee, and them nails would be 50,000 inches long, all them doodads on there, you know, just nasty. And but what ended up happening was she was married, okay, to a man. Her husband had a male cousin who was also married. So the two wives became close. Big Back started screwing the other one, the cousin, the other woman's husband. She started screwing that man. And now all of these videos and stuff, because you know they tell their whole life. She flirting with this man and all these little clips. You know, folks the internet gonna do what it do and put all this stuff together. I'm not gonna bore you with the story because I'm gonna show you the story. I'm just giving y'all a little background to understand what we're talking about. Just a little bit. So she starts cheating on her husband with this other woman's husband. Okay, they start cheating with each other. All right. Eventually, the wife find out, and like she leave her husband. You know, everything blow up. Her husband leave her. And she was, quote unquote, going to marry this man. Now, she started parading this man around on her social media and basically rubbing it in this woman's face, rubbing it in the ex-wife's face. Okay. So because they are in North Carolina has a law on the books. I forgot exactly what the law is called, but it allows spouses who other spouse is guilty of adultery. It allowed the spouse to sue the affair partner, especially if it was like their marriage was not on the rocks prior to the affair. And basically the affair broke the marriage up. Okay. And alienation of affection. Thank you. That's the name of the law. The law and it's on a minority of states that have this law. Alienation of affection is what the law is called. It allows a spouse or an ex-spouse to sue the affair partner for basically undermining their marriage. She was the court found in favor of the wife, and the lawsuit amount ended up at about $1.7 million. Okay, that she is liable to have to pay. So what we're going to do is this lady right here is breaking down the timeline so that y'all can see the foolishness. We're going to really talk about it because it's not so much about the details of this, but y'all need to hear the things. And I got a message for women who think there's a sisterhood, and there is not.
Backstory for the people that don't know who Brenay and Akira are and why their case is so big right now. So let's talk about it. Brenay is a well-known content creator. She's been on social media for years. She has millions of followers across all the several platforms, and her and Akira were friends. I mean friends like they were best friends, to the point where Akira allowed Brenay to watch her children. Both of these women were married and their husbands are first cousins, and they used to hang out all the time. Brenay was married to Devin. Akira was married to Tim. Akira started suspecting that Brenay and Tim were having a thing because when they would hang out, Brenay was starting to give Tim more attention than even her husband Devin.
Okay. Now, as we watch, I want y'all to take note that these women were friends, like to the point where they regarded each other, quote unquote, each other as family. Okay. And they began to make content together. You know what I'm saying? Brenay, I think, was the bigger content creator. And so they was making content together sometimes. And, you know, they figuring everything is okay because both of them are married or whatever. But we going to continue.
Hey!
Okay.
Devin sitting in the back seat.
Say hey. Say hey.
She threw up a peace sign behind Devin.
For soap, and of course I was literally sitting on the table, don't do too much. But anyway, then Tim had came home and finished the kids' kitchen, and then
Tim came home and finished the kids' kitchen. Excuse me?
I don't drive no more, so it's weird. Really? Because he be driving. I don't drive no more. Girl, don't do your husband like that. Don't do him like that. Devin would be pissed if I got him that.
And Akira eventually found out that Brenay and Tim were having an affair, but not only were they having an affair, but they were very disrespectful with it. They were having relations in Akira and Tim's bed. They were having relations in the bathroom in Akira and Tim's house while Akira and Tim's children were there. So Akira filed for divorce and eventually alienation of affection against Brenay for her part in the affair.
The way that these kids was crying and screaming after being in a car accident, and then you gonna traumatize them some more and rip them from their mama? You gonna take them away from their mama at the hospital? Despite being asked numerous times for the protection of the children to keep the girlfriend away from the minor children and the minor children just being involved in a car accident, Tim and Brenay still grabbed and left with the minor children. And both parties rolled their eyes at Akira while she was outside in the hospital waiting room after the children were seen by medical professionals. So what this basically meant was she made sure that the kids were taken care of first. And now she was waiting to have her exam to make sure that she was okay. So even though that they were cleared, they done came in and done took these children knowing that she had not been seen and she couldn't leave until she was seen. You got to be kidding me.
Meanwhile, in Brenay's marriage, she told her husband that she didn't want to be with him no more and that she wanted to be with Tim.
So that's probably gonna be the next video that I'm gonna have with my husband. I don't know why I say my husband, Devin. We've been married for 4 months, y'all. Let's think about it.
Excuse me? Speak up.
You didn't even talk like this. You can't see me. You want to hear from me.
I said, I wasn't talking about you. I said,
He is mad awkward. Read the next question, because you, ooh.
Because her husband and
Mind you, this is how she's responding to any mention of her actual husband. They had only been married for 4 months, and this is how you doing. This is why you don't marry these big back hoes, these big back hyena hoes. I told y'all hoes be getting married. Hyenas be getting married. And just because she married don't mean she not a hyena. This gonna be, thank you. First of all, thank you, Naeem said, sisterhood, the things women do to others. This today. We gonna go through this today. It ain't no sisterhood. And I don't know why these hyenas think it's a sisterhood or try to brainwash everybody else that it's a sisterhood. We gonna really get to it. Because you are grinning and skinning in this woman's face. You got a whole husband. This is why I say this is an adulterer and an adulteress that we talking about here. And y'all don't think that the curse of the Most High comes to this? Allah say in the Quran, and do not go near to adultery, meaning don't even open the door or the pathway that would lead you to adultery. Don't even do that. So you running around here grinning and skinning in this woman's face and screwing her man. This how dirty y'all is. And then y'all want to talk about it's a girl's girl. It's, you know, I'm a girl's girl, you know, in the sisterhood. And the women got to, y'all don't stick together. Y'all do not stick together. All y'all do is stab everybody in the back. You stab all the men in the back. And then you stab all the women in the back who would be your friends. This is why I tell the men, do not side eye no lioness because she don't got no bunch of females around her. It ain't no sisterhood, and lionesses know that. You might have one or two, maybe, of women who actually are your friends and they know how to be friends. But we know it's a whole bunch of hyenas, and you cannot be sisters with them. But we gonna let you listen to some more of it.
Of finding out about her and Tim as well. But not only her and Tim, but the fact that Brenay's twin sister Corinne was also messing with Tim as well. Not only was she messing with Tim, but she had been messing with Tim for years. If anything, Tim was messing with Corinne way more than Brenay. He preferred Corinne over her. So after Akira found out, she left Tim, and Tim had no other option but to go with Brenay. And ever since him and Brenay have been open with their relationship, the disrespect has been so freaking loud with Brenay.
Keeping the one to keep the last name, that's her decision. She's going to be the Miss Montague, and I'm going to be the Mrs. Montague. So honestly, it really doesn't matter to me. I do not have any hatred in my heart for Tim's baby mom. I don't. I was auntie to those kids, a name that I didn't give myself. Just to throw that out there. Was like, hey, I want to call myself auntie. No, name that was given to me. If I don't like the baby mom, I don't like the kids. I love those kids, even like I said, when my position was auntie. I love those kids. Now that my position is, and it is stepmom. I may not be fond and may not like the things that the baby mom is doing, not only to me, but also to the baby dad. I don't like that. I can say that. I don't like it. But I'm not going to sit here on camera and to y'all, and I will say it to her and whoever else I need to, if when time is right, that I don't have any hatred towards you. Because at the end of the
why would you have the stuff that these chicken heads come up with to say? And really be on camera thinking they saying something. They don't know how stupid they sound. They don't know how evil they sound. They don't know how corrupt they sound. Why would you be mad with the woman whose husband you're committing adultery with? Mad at her for what? For being mad with you? You don't like her because what? Because she's upset that a woman that she deemed as her friend would come behind her back, a married friend, not a single friend, a married friend. She didn't think the married friend who was married to her husband's first cousin, them boys was close. And nobody's talking about how Devin feel about that whole situation. It's just the only reason that the women are getting such highlight about it is because she was so messy about it. Devin, the poor man that she cheated on, he didn't deserve this. This is how y'all do. Because how is he supposed to feel about the betrayal between his wife and his cousin? What kind of betrayal is that? What kind of heartbreak is that? Not only did my wife cheat on me with another man, she cheated on me with a man that's supposed to be cool with me. You're supposed to have my back. You my boy. You my cousin. And you gonna slide? You, of all the other men, all the other women you could have cheated on your wife with, you picked my wife. And of all the other men that you could have cheated on me with, you choose my cousin. Nobody talk about the heartbreak that man has gone through. It's just that they don't be messy like chicks, so he ain't all over social media acting a fool. Now he got to just deal with the heartbreak of that and the betrayal of that on his own.
Today, we all are going to have to co-parent those kids, and even my children, because their kids, the baby mom and the baby dad kids, are going to be siblings to my kids. Princess picked it up and was like, oh, that is so good. Yeah. And I just kind of brushed it off. But then I was like, that one that she...
In her recent search on Instagram, like, what you watching for? She mad. Her nigga dropped the bag. He
How can you scream that I ruined a marriage that y'all was separated before? Thank you. How can you scream? And I've been in your life since alone, in your life alone, for over half of what she's ever been in your life before. So how can you scream? How can you scream? Oh my gosh, Brenay ruined my marriage. She cheated and this and that and the third. How can I do that? How can I ruin a marriage that was already broken? Y'all already had a separation. So clearly it's something up. And that's all I'm gonna say. It's clearly something up with that marriage. Before Brenay came into the picture to try to ruin it. I was in your life, but I'm saying before any of this that social media see is what I mean. Before social media see.
First time, bro.
Thank you. I don't get it. But I ruined your marriage, but it happened before. In the same situation that's happening now, happened before.
It happened before. This is why you're not supposed to. This is why lionesses do not have a lot of female friends. Too many are hyenas. There's no sisterhood. Akira, the other woman, was confiding in her about an infidelity that her husband had before she stayed in the marriage, trying to work it out and things of that nature. You now on social media laughing at her about the fact that he cheated on her before, now he's cheating on her with you. And your justification of all of this is that since he did it before, she shouldn't feel no type of way now. Could it be that Akira was actually married? Akira and your ex-husband that you cheated on, Mr. Devin, them two people didn't know they was married to jackals. But you a nasty little slut anyway, because you was messing with Tim back in the day when you and your sister was messing with him. When y'all was like in high school. So you asleep with your sister's man. You asleep with any man. If you sleep with a man that's your sister, your blood twin sister, you asleep with a man she slept with. You will sleep with any man anywhere. And you will break any bond to do so because you don't actually make bonds with women. You get in women's faces in order to scope they men. A little bit more.
But Brenay's the homewrecker. Believe what y'all want. Do y'all realize I had an opportunity to be with Tim a long time ago? I've known it.
As Brenay does.
Can wear her skin over mine. Her hair over mine.
Brenay literally copied everything Akira do. I'm scared she got...
They showed up to the kid's doctor's appointment. She told Akira that her husband wasn't her husband anymore and sent her a kissy face. Akira was pregnant when she found out about the affair and ended up miscarrying due to the stress. Like, this case is crazy. Allegedly, Corinne, Brenay's twin sister's child, is Tim's. The child looks just like him. Just a Spark Notes version of everything that's going on. But when I tell you that this case is going to be a Tubi movie and we're seeing it in
Can y'all hear me and see me? Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear and see me. I don't know what ended up happening. Okay, I'm gonna share this. What I'm gonna share with y'all is the last thing. It's only like a minute, and it's like little snippets after the court or whatever.
Exposed in court for still sleeping with his wife while dating Brenay. The entire courtroom went dead silent as prosecutors dropped the receipts, explicit texts, timestamps, and photos that proved Tim never stopped seeing Akira. He told the jury they'd been separated, but those messages showed something else entirely. One text had him telling Akira he wanted to fill her up like a Twinkie. Another came with a picture that had the whole courtroom cringing. Even after their supposed breakup video, they were still sending videos and checking in on each other like nothing changed. Brenay, who's representing herself, by the way, stood there questioning Tim, trying to hold it together. But when the messages were confirmed to be real, she looked shattered. Akira's messages showed a woman still fighting for her marriage, apologizing, begging to make it work, while Tim was whispering the same lies to Brenay. And when photos surfaced of Tim and Akira going out on multiple dates, right around the time he claimed he was done, it was over. The jury was shaking their heads. The same man who claimed to love both women just exposed himself as the reason they're both in that courtroom. So Tim just got exposed in court for
Exactly. Long titties. Shout out to Miss Chantel. Because if them titties ain't long, I don't know what they are. So the reason that I wanted to go through Latosha Daniels and this Brenay character, the reason I wanted to show y'all this is not just for the tea portion of it, but because you know we're going to have something deeper than the tea, right? What we're starting to see is different outcomes of practicing not only being whores, but of being terrible people. These are evil people. These are not just women with high body counts or women that are just sort of promiscuous or whatever. These women they have practiced being horrible people for years. For these generations, all of this feminism and all of these demonic things that they have been, engaging in, all of this corrupt behavior has given way to a lot of evil women. So now they're reaping some different kinds of outcomes. Legal outcomes at this point. Because see, you can get it in this world and the next. People think you just gotta die and, because I think that's a game too, dying and then having to meet a law with what you've done. But he can bring consequences here in this life. This is a consequence. She got sued by that woman for $1.7 million that she gonna have to cough up. How dare you think that you can do all of these things and there are no consequences and repercussions for you? Who do these chicks think that they are? Horrible people. These are the things that they have been practicing. Lack of loyalty. Practicing lack of loyalty. I can be with this man. I can sneak and be with that man. I can be with these other men. I don't have to be a wife. I don't have to be a woman of integrity. No accountability. I don't have to take accountability for anything that I do. I'm always a victim and I'm always right. And no matter what's going on or what I've done, I always can spin it some type of way as to where I don't really got to take accountability and it was somebody else's fault. Extreme selfishness. Extreme. I want what I want. That's what Latosha said. She was willing to take that man from his family because she was no longer getting what she wanted out of him. So it don't matter if his wife Tabitha was getting anything. It doesn't matter if other people cared about him, regardless of what we think about him as an adulterer. But extreme selfishness. This is the type of selfishness that get men dealt with dealing with these chicks because she want to do what she wants to do. And she doesn't mind the fallout as long as it don't touch her. It's only bad. The fallout is only bad when it touch her. Because if that Latosha woman could have got away with it, she would have just got away with it. She would have just, rationalized how that was all right. Since he hurt her, it was all right. How long have these women been celebrating being transactional without any kind of internal goodness or integrity? And it's being taught that. These are the undergirding things of the sprinkle movement and all that kind of stuff. Like, you as a woman, you don't have to be a good person. You don't have to have internal goodness. You don't have to have integrity. You don't have to have a good spiritual base. You don't have to do all of that. All you got to do is have a big booty, a little waist, a cute face, and twist around for a man to give you something, and that should be all. That should be all. Offended when men ask them what kind of value that you were going to bring to a relationship. What kind of woman can you actually be? What kind of thing can you do aside from sex? They get offended by this. Offended by asking them, are you a good person? Anytime you don't believe that there are going to be consequences and repercussions, dire consequences and repercussions for not having any of the 5 internal values, and you're living them in the lost value system, you don't think it's gonna be no problem with you living in delusion and no truth, living without care of anything, no support. You don't care about support and family and togetherness. You don't have a standard. Instead of peace, all you reap is chaos and foolishness everywhere that you go. You don't think that there's going to be a problem in your life, your whole life a problem. And all that you do is bring problems to others. Because that's how you live your life, as a problem. You live your life as a problem. The problem is that you have no internal good, none. Y'all are horrible people. Then with this one, all of that coupled with the I can take your man. This is why I'm talking about there's no sisterhood. There's no sisterhood because they all think they can take your man, or they are all looking to do even the women that they call their friends, looking to do them dirty. They look for opportunities to do you dirty. Message to the females. There is no sisterhood. Let me talk, because the lionesses know it. I'm talking to the hyenas. Whatever it is that you reap, you will sow. All of that you do, even to these men, you call yourself do men dirty, specifically to men. And you think that that's not going to come back to you, and it do. You getting everything that you deserve. Y'all want to sit here and talk about what you deserve. You don't deserve any good to come to you because you don't give any good. You don't have any good. You are not good. No man that worth the salt going bread wants you because you are not good. All the females that you have around here, around you, are just as scummy as you are. They ready with the knife that's put in your back, same way you are. They ready to take your man. They ready to steal your money. They ready to talk greasy on you to others. They ready to put you on blast on social media. They ready to dox you. They get closer. Y'all get close enough to each other to get information, not because you want to be friends, but because you want to have ammo for when I do you dirty later. Then I got receipts. Don't y'all like receipts? That's the big thing with y'all, right? Receipts. Y'all keep and hoard information. Can't nobody confide in y'all. Y'all men can't tell y'all nothing. But little do the men know, the women can't tell them nothing either. They keep receipts on everybody. Can't nobody confide in you because the minute you get mad, you throw it back up in a man's face. How many men have had a woman that they told something to throw it back up in his face when she got mad? Put a 1 in the chat. For that matter, a woman. Any women who confided in a woman that they thought was their friend and she threw it back up or told somebody. You put a 1 in the chat too. All you do is wrong these men. You lie to them. You throw things back in their faces. You laugh with them. You cheat on them. You steal from them. And you wonder why these men don't really want to have nothing to do with you. You wonder why these men, curving you. Can't deal with you. Don't want to deal with you. You wonder why the men talk about you like they do now. Man, we just gonna have other women. We just gonna quote unquote cheat on you. We just gonna, and you either deal with it or you don't, because you have not been good women. Y'all want to squawk and holler and cry that the men are doing something to you as if you earned something else. You gotta earn respect. The men don't respect you because you're not respectable. Not only are you not sexually respectable, you're not respectable as human beings. You don't even carry yourself with integrity in non-sexual situations and circumstances. You don't think these men see you backstabbing your friends, backstabbing your co-workers, talking greasy about people that you were supposed to be talking good about? You think these men don't hear you backbiting everybody? You got all these social media pages. You think these men don't hear you talking about everybody and know that you talk about them as well? Got that backbiting, gossiping spirit? Nobody is safe with you. Y'all the main ones talking about safe spaces. You have never been a safe space for nobody. You're not a safe space for your kids. You're not a safe space for your man. You're not a safe space for other women. You're not a safe space, and you want to look at me and say women like me don't like other women. No, I just don't like your foolishness. And I'm going to call it out every time. No, I'm not a girl's girl. I'm not. Absolutely not. Y'all ain't sugar, honey, iced tea. I ain't no dang on girl's girl. I'm a woman. A lioness, to be precise. And I don't need to run up behind no hyenas and yip and yap with y'all, okay? I don't need to run up behind no hyenas and yip and yap with y'all to try to be okay. I don't got to do that. And I'm not going to. I'm not doing that with y'all. to try to be cool with y'all. Why would I try to be cool with y'all? Why do I want to be cool with y'all anyway? Why would a lioness want to be cool with you? You're not cool. You're not a safe space. All that grinning and skinning. Don't nobody believe that. Nobody believes that. I'm actually leery when other women want to be too friendly with me too quick. You don't know me. And I'm 47 years old, baby. No new friends. We ain't in high school. I don't gotta sit at the cool kids table, baby. I am the cool kids table. It's the lionesses that y'all can't share space with. We don't look to share space with you. You're not the cool kids. We are. Hyenas are not the cool kids. Lionesses are. We're the cool kids. You don't create safe spaces. You create toxic spaces, dangerous spaces for people to get close to you. It's dangerous to be close to you. That's why the men don't want to marry you. It's dangerous to be close to you. Playing like this with another man. You don't know how Devin would have taken it. I'm talking about big titties. I'm talking about jumbo size. Mama jamma. Big back coffee. That's what I'm talking about. You don't know what kind of thing that could have snapped in your husband's brain. Because I tell you this much, for all of that yapping that women do about cheating, men can't take cheating like women can. You don't know what that man could have done. Could have did you, went over there and got rid of his cousin. For the betrayal, you don't know how men take betrayal. It's dangerous. It's dangerous. Men get dangerous when they feel deep senses of betrayal from people that they have sacrificed for, from people that they love, that they thought loved them. You on the internet rolling your eyes about him, and you don't think you're supposed to feel that energy and feel nothing? You don't know what that man could have done. You could have set up a very dangerous situation with that, playing with men like that. Both your cousin and your wife betray you in such an intimate, devastating way. I hope that brother got some type of support. This could have been a deletion trial going on. You better be glad all you had was a civil lawsuit. And she's squawking about that. Her and them titties did not like that verdict, baby. All three of them was standing there talking about, I don't know how she gonna get the money. We're gonna extract it pound for pound out of them titties, out of them long titties you got. That's where every month we gonna extract one, like a garnishment. So can't confide in you, not safe spaces. And last but certainly not least, y'all look for ways to destroy the people that you're supposed to love. That's why don't nobody want to be with you no more. That's why these men don't want to be with you no more. Because you actively look for ways to destroy the people that you say you love. I do not want to be loved by no hyena. That is a hurtful place. A hyena talking about they love you, you need to run. A hyena talking about they love you, you need to run. You need to get out of there. Wonder why you can't get married. Because all of this, every single one of these things is corrupted from your person. Y'all don't got no personal market value. Y'all are crap. Because this is what I'm really talking about. No personal market value. Y'all are crap. Y'all are crappy individuals, crappy mothers, crappy friends, crappy lovers, crappy girlfriends, crappy wives, and crappy co-workers. Everything is corrupt. The belonging market value. Don't nobody like you because you're not likable. Everybody's doing everything they can not to hate you. Friends? What friends? Y'all don't know the meaning of that. Y'all have no idea what it takes to have a friendship, because the same thing that it takes to have a friendship is the same thing it takes to have a marriage. That's why you don't know what friendships are, because that's the same set of values. It's the same skill set. You don't know how to be friends with nobody because you don't know how to be a wife. And that is the same skill set. Integrity is necessary. Accountability is necessary. Selflessness is necessary. Your sexual market value, that's in the tank because you're a bunch of hoes. All you do is cheat and slide. No wonder you can't be married. Is it any wonder that you can never be married? Don't nobody want you. Nobody wants you. Nobody wants you at all. So the next time y'all run into a lioness and you vetting her and things like that, and she say she don't really got a lot of girlfriends, good. She shouldn't. Too many hyenas running around. Lionesses seclude themselves because we don't want to be infected. It's an infection. We rather stay by ourselves in our house. At least you're somewhat safe in there. Thank you. The diseases. So you're physically nasty. You got nasty spirits, and it make you have a nasty body. You got nasty minds and nasty spirits. Nasty minds and nasty spirits. That's what you have. So yeah, the STDs, and y'all worried about if a man cheat. Y'all worried about if a man cheat. Why don't yeah. Y'all worried about if a man cheat or whatever, if he gonna bring you a disease. You gonna bring him one. You gonna bring him one. You the one got him. You riddled with him. Lionesses, put a 2 in the chat. One time for the one time. We're not dealing with that foolishness. Lionesses don't have time for the foolishness of these women. These nasty women. They nasty. They got nasty attitudes. It's more than a neck roll. They think deviously. They malicious. They try to hurt you. If they know any information about you, they'll spread it. They'll spread a narrative about you. They always somewhere on a TikTok or YouTube or somewhere trying to expose somebody. I got the receipts and such and such. Remember when they record conversations and screenshot text messages? You can't talk to them. Thank you, Quiet Face said that story about thrusting and being rough was to imply she was withdrawn. Oh, okay, I read that one. Thank you. Thank you, Naeem. So next week's topic. Thank you so much for that. Thank you, DT, for your super stick. I appreciate that. Thank you, 52, for the generous contribution. I definitely appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We had to talk about it. But hopefully everybody got something out of it that they needed to get out of it. Okay. Before we go, I need you all to go here to the crimsoncure.com. This is where I offer two things of great value. The first thing that I offer is a coaching session. I do coaching both for men, women, couples. It doesn't matter. I'm here to help the community. So if you need any type of help, you can come to crimsoncure.com. You can click right here where it says book a session. What that'll do is it'll take you to yet another landing page, and this is the landing page where you can pick a 1 or 2 hour session. It'll take you right through everything where you'll be able to choose your own date and time that's convenient for you. Okay. And you can also make the purchase of Reclaiming the Black Feminine. Okay. You can choose to click this button to buy now through PayPal. It's safe and secure, so you don't have any issues. It's very easy to do. At this moment, I do not ship internationally because the shipping is cost prohibitive. However, if I can once I remedy that, I'll let you know that I'm able to ship internationally as well. Okay. All right, so I want to thank everybody. Jump down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your hostess, The Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.